The other one before.
Hello, we are live, and it is so exciting that we are on our launch day today of the Making a Difference book. Congratulations, everybody here, and well done. Let's celebrate. A big cheer for our book. And can you believe that we already have into number one in Australia? We are already number one in hypnosis in Australia, so that is super exciting.
Amazing.
Oh, wow.
For those of you who don't know, my name is Crystal Hill. I'm the founder of Hill House Publishing. And when Wendy Corner came to me suggesting this book, it was just, I said yes. And, she is the brain and the heart and soul behind it all. And so I just want to, welcome everybody who's watching, and a massive congratulations to you all. Wendy, how did this book get conceived? What was your initial kind of intention for it? And first of all, who are you to even do this?
Okay, right. Who am I? Yes. Some people refer to me as the quirky speaker coach. I work with speakers to enable them to get their message out to a wider world, to the right audience, to poke the bear with grace and conviction. This book came about because last year the Your Words Have Power company was shortlisted for more awards based here in Australia in the MAD category, as in making a difference. That got me thinking, okay, I'd been part of another multi-author book. I thought, this has got wider. This has got legs on it. And so this was where we were thinking, well, look, there are lots of multi-author books around, but ours is a bit different because from my perspective, as well as having wonderful stories that our authors have shared, I take the authors from page to stage. So we've got the extra element of speaking about your wonderful story, your wonderful book, and the difference that your life experience has made, which has enabled you to produce the work that you do, and you make a difference in the world. So that's where this book was birthed.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I absolutely love it. So let's go around the room and hear from each of the beautiful authors who you are, what you're doing in the world, and how you're making a difference. Now, let's just use that as a opening question. Layla, would you like to go first?
Thank you, Crystal. I really appreciate it. And congratulations to us all for this. I feel like we have shared this journey together as one, even though we have an individual voice and an individual message. My name is Layla Ansari, and I am a motivational speaker, author, and relationship coach. And I've always been passionate to help individuals, to help people. And I feel like, when you immortalize your words and your message in writing, it's like exactly what I've said. You have put yourself into the stratosphere, into the universe forever. And I hope that my legacy will continue to help other people connect deeper with themselves, have a better understanding of themselves, and to accept themselves as they are, because we're imperfectly beautiful just the way we are. So that's who I am, and that's my message.
Beautiful message. Yeah, I totally resonate. We are imperfectly perfect, just the way we are. And to impart that to people is really how we change the world and how we empower people. And that's how you particularly make a difference. So thank you for that message and for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Let's move to Terry. Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you. Absolutely appreciate your role in this, and Wendy's, and everybody who's been a part of this journey. It's a little bit surreal, honestly, getting to this point. So my name is Terry Adams-Munn. I work with people who are stuck. My whole focus in my world is around helping people to get clear on their dreams, because often if we get to that point where we feel stuck, it's because we've just kind of lost our way. Maybe you just are starting to make decisions by default. You've ended up in a situation that, over a period of time is not entirely of what you would prefer. So I encourage people to take a step back, reassess where you are right now, get clear on the dreams that you actually really want to achieve. And then I support people through that process of creating the change needed so they can make it, so each person can make a difference in their own life. And it's something that I have done my entire life, and I absolutely love it. So
beautiful. We'll get more into all of your dream vision work, and you've got this workshop coming up that you're sharing with everyone who's purchasing a book today. So more
absolutely.
details about that as well. Rashida, welcome and congratulations. Who are you and how are you making a difference?
Thank you. First, I definitely want to say it has been an amazing journey to work with all of you. I really appreciate the day Layla reached out and asked me if I wanted to be a part of this project. And then since then, it's just been quite an experience of working with Wendy and yourself, Crystal, and Jenny to bring it together. As for, my message, I focus on radical accountability. I know it's a principle that has helped shape myself, as a leader, and in particular as a female leader in the Army. And it's perhaps not a traditional piece of advice that you would hear. And so I chose to tell it in a story version and to demonstrate how one can take more ownership on the decisions and how one can come to realize that they have a lot more ownership over the decisions they make at every point. And getting people to have a sense of the more I can control, the less I have to worry about what other people are doing. And in a sense, it's asking us to put down those gold goggles, those rose-colored goggles that make us want to see the world in a very innocent as it should be, and then just take calculated decisions based on the callousness of what the world really is.
Yeah, I've read so much amazing feedback on your chapter, and certainly when I read it, there was this engagement. You really captivated me all the way through, and because stories, that is just driving that point home, that our stories really connect and activate a part within us that is in the limbic brain, in the feelings, in the unconscious. So it really goes right in and just like, oh yes, I resonate with that. I can understand that, and I can now apply that. So yeah, massive kudos to you and your chapter. And yeah, those listening, read her chapter, read everybody's chapter. There is such a diversity in this group, as you may already be able to tell. And with that, let's go to Margaret. Let's hear who you are and how you're making a difference in the world.
Hi, everyone. It's been great working with all of you to this launch day. It's such an amazing experience, a bit of a roller coaster as well, getting the words on paper. And, I'm passionate about making a difference in my practice, helping people using strategic psychotherapy and clinical hypnotherapy, and just empowering people. And through my own personal journey, my own personal story, the learning that I've understood from the inside out, what it's like to experience depression, anxiety, and trauma, and how to help others find the help that they need, to find their resources, using hypnosis to help them have that mental clarity, that inner peace, that health and happiness and vitality in life that every human being deserves to have. So yeah, just incredible experience. And thank you for allowing me to be part of this amazing book, Making a Difference.
Thank you for hearing the call and for saying yes. Yeah, your chapter, I think, again, a lot of people will be able to resonate with that journey that you've gone through, and the inspiration of how you've turned your life around and how you're now helping others to come out of depression, anxiety, and all of those things that in many respects we don't talk about and that are shamed. And so hearing and reading your chapter and you seeing your story on the page really is a powerful testimony for people who say, oh yeah, me too, I'm not alone, and so that's what I'm really getting from your chapter, and that's why I think it's so important what you've shared. So thank you.
Thanks, Crystal.
To Clara, welcome and congratulations for being here.
Hi, everyone. I am so excited to be here. And I'm excited because I've met so many beautiful people, all 13 of the authors, unbelievable. And I am very grateful for the opportunity to be here as a number one with all of you in Australia. Really am. My name's Clara Deans. I have a business called The Welcome Philosophy. And what I do is make a difference in the world by telling people my stories. The story that I tell in the book is a crisis story. Everyone has crises in their lives. Every day, people go through the roller coaster. And I just want to let everyone know that you don't have to live and stay on that roller coaster, that you can actually get through it. And the way in which to get through it is to have someone mentoring you and standing beside you as you go through the journey. And that's what I do. I make a difference every day with the people who I walk beside, who I talk to, who talk to me, and come up with their own solutions to their own problems.
Such a powerful, powerful opportunity to just give people the space to tap back into their own innate wisdom so that they can make the difference in their own lives, because that is just, you are helping them really empower themselves. So that's really beautiful. Let's move into another question. Maybe we can talk about, what is the intention for this book? Like, when you wrote your chapter, what was the thing that you really wanted the reader to take away from that chapter? Or how did you want to leave them inspired? Or maybe even you can either answer that question or like the bigger question, or how do you see a world where you have made that difference? Where, what does that world look like that we are working towards, moving towards, that we want to see when we have made that difference and when others are making their differences? So you can take it either way. I'll give you a second to just kind of ponder on that. It's the intention for the reader, the intention for the world with your work and with this book. Terry.
I know you were going to ask me first.
You look ready. Like they were still thinking. It's like, no, I think Terry's ready.
My ultimate goal in amongst both the book and the work that I do is that I really want people to stop and think differently, to stop and really consider the decisions that they're making, and to work out whether the foreseeables, like what you can see coming out of the decision that you're making right now, is going to bring you the results that you're truly looking for, or whether in that moment you're kind of taking the easy way out and making your decision by default. I talk like almost continuously about living your life by design and stop living your life by default. And so many of us have ended up in a situation, myself included, where we're living a life that is less than, where we're not showing up to the world to our full capacity, where our impact is diminished, etc., because we have made our decisions in default mode. And I really want people to stop and think, consciously make those decisions, actively take a role in creating and designing the future that you want for yourself, and then putting their action into that to bring that into reality. And so that's like the underpinning message within my chapter, within the book, but also it's about everything that I do. It's all about if you can think differently. And it doesn't mean that you've got to like throw the baby out with the bathwater. Sometimes it's just a few tweaks here and there that can create a fundamental shift in your world. But if you can think differently about how you make those decisions and really design the future that you're looking for, that's what I want to see happen in this world. That's
I love
the
it.
bit I want to see.
Thank you so much for sharing that. That's beautiful. Wendy, let's go over to you.
That segues beautifully into my chapter. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Crystal. I realised the link there. Yeah, absolutely, because how we think in words, we think in language, and your words do have power. So my intention, my chapter was called The Unintentional Entrepreneur, because I didn't intend to be one. I kind of fell into it, or rather was kicked into it. But I explore in the chapter 5 of my what I call internal scripts, the things that I say to myself, and looking at them and going, okay, is that actually working for me now? Obviously, at some point in history, it worked. It was a necessity in terms of that particular script. But some of them aren't. So I give examples of where I've uncovered those internal scripts, reflected on whether they're now working, and those that needed flipping, I've given an alternative. And those are the things that I now tell myself. Those are the internal scripts that now are more resourceful and magnify my abundance, vitality, and freedom. So my intention of sharing this with the world is to encourage the readers and those who listen to me that you can make a difference to your own internal world. And as a speaker, if what's going on in here doesn't match what's coming out of here, your non-verbals will give you away. So let's get you lined up. Let's get you thinking powerfully and speaking powerfully. And that's the difference that I want to see in the world.
So well said. Thank you, Wendy. Yeah. Joel, while we have you, I know you've had issues coming back in and out. The first question that we've asked is, who are you and how are you making a difference in the world?
Well, yeah, thank you for your patience. I don't have the beautiful backgrounds that you guys have because I had to switch to my wife's computer. So my name is Joel Kennedy, and I am a licensed financial professional and educator, and now founder of TrueAbundance.us. And I help people who are searching for true abundance in their life, whether it's financial or relational or spiritual. And I help facilitate that transition from the scarcity mindset to one of true abundance.
Very beautiful.
That's really the contribution that I was trying to make to this book is my journey in getting to that point in my life as well.
Yeah, and you certainly have so many beautiful examples in your book that hooked me in, and where I was like really right there with you, and that made me reflect on my own journey with abundance as well. So it's a very engaging chapter. And again, if those of you who are, I know everybody will read it, those of who is here, and the readers, listeners will do that as well. If you want to have a different perspective on why you may not be making the money that you want to make, go and read Joel's chapter. Yeah. So let's go back to, go ahead. Okay. So let's go back to that question. What do you want to see in the world? What is your intention for the reader with the chapter that you've written? Rashida, let's move over to you.
Thank you, Crystal. I think I would actually piggyback a little bit off of Wendy's concept about internal scripts, in the sense that very often someone who is a victim often has a script of others have done onto me. And in this book, it gives people an opportunity where they can take back their power, they can take a seat. They're not necessarily asking permissions for other people for them to be where they want to be, whether that's a seat at the table, that's present in the relationship as a partner. And so it's just getting them. I delve into the I narrative, in which you walk the victim in the story through a narrative and where she happened, where she felt like she was wrong. And then we get her to walk through it with the I narrative, in which she's only allowed to focus on the actions she took, and to be able to better anticipate where other people's may potentially do harm or whatnot. And now, as long as she's able to stay in the I narrative, she can't have those rose-colored goggles on that say, but this is the way I should be. This is the way I should be treated. Instead of, she is faced with the reality of how things are. And now she gets to make better choices that better serve her, whether it's in career, whether it's in a relationship. And it isn't easy, because part of accountability means that there's almost an innocence that's lost, that sense of someone else will come in and save me, because now you are your own heroine in that book. So, and so tying it to Wendy's on.
Ooh. We're thinking, yeah, it's a beautiful, really, really well said. And I think that piece about giving permission and claiming permission and no longer waiting for the world to give us permission is so important at this time in particular, I feel. So I'm just intuiting here, who is the great person to piggyback on that one. I think so many of you could be. So I'm going to go to Layla.
Thank you, Crystal. And, as the book is called, Making a Difference, so are our stories. All of our stories have very much a similar theme, not only in the title of the book, but also in our message that we're trying to get across. And everything that everyone has said, from Joel to Wendy to Perry and Rashida, has all resonated with me and my story and my message of what I want to get across to people. And what I found is that so many of my clients, and also in my own narrative, it wasn't just about taking accountability. It was also letting go of control. So many times we want to control. It's not even the fact that we're being a victim or we're not taking accountability. It's like, I'm taking accountability and I'm doing this thing and I have an idea of how I want the outcome to be. And when it isn't manifesting itself in the way that we anticipate, we then begin to get disillusioned, discontented, we start to unravel, I find, as human beings, because we have a vision, we have an idea of what our expectations are. It's like having that dessert that your mom always made, and you see it, you go to a restaurant, you go, God, I haven't had this for years, I really, really want it, and you're disappointed. It's the same dessert, possibly, but it wasn't made by the same hands, with the same love, with the same, and it isn't in that moment that you decided that you love that thing. So the experience is never going to be the same. But embracing the fact that I love this thing, and maybe it isn't as good as what mom used to make it, but I still have enjoyed it because I'm taking it from the essence of in the moment and not what my expectations are, will bring so much more, I guess, enjoyment is what I'm getting at. So my story is about ditching the script and embracing that there are so many aspects of life and our journey that require us to let go of that sense of control and to be able to trust our intuition enough to know that we are enough. What we have is enough. The tools that we have been given, and we might enhance those and we might even add to them. But in a nutshell, we don't need a script. We don't need to feel like we are coming from a sense of already knowing what the outcome's going to be. Because when we do that, we end up having so much more of an enriched experience, and even maybe lessons of learning and life and love and connectivity. So that's my real big message to any of the readers and to my fellow authors, contributing to what everyone else's message is saying, is ditch the script. Life is an improv.
Yeah, beautifully said. And it's like when we can dance with life, when we can ditch the expectations, ditch the script, then we are more present, we can enjoy it more fully, as you just said, and we can also know and trust that the universe always has our back, and that whatever is happening is there for us in some way of shape or form. And if we have an expectation, we won't find that thing as fast as if, as you said, we ditch the script and just be in that present moment. So yeah, your chapter is definitely, it's beautifully written and really demonstrates that very well. So thank you so much. Clara, what about you? What are you hoping the reader will take away from your chapter, and what are you seeing for the world at large?
Well, I believe that there is power in your story, and there is power in everyone's story. Everyone's story changes them, and it changes everyone who hears the story. So for me, I hope that what I am going to do is to allow people to want to tell their story, to use the learnings and the experience from stories to gain wisdom from it, and to share that wisdom forward. I called my business The Welcome Philosophy because philosophy is the wisdom that you gain. And wisdom is actually the actions and the doing. So in doing something and learning from that, you gain wisdom. If you share that wisdom, then you change another person. It's like saving the starfish on the sea, seashore. There's the story about the person who picks up the starfish and is throwing them in, and the other one comes along and says, why are you doing that? Oh, well, I'm saving the starfish, but there's so many of them, then you're never going to save them. Well, my idea is that if I share my story and it helps one person, I've done what I need to do. And Maya Angelou says that, about, there's no greater agony than the story untold. I want to help and support people to get their story out and to share that story in a brave space, and make stories and telling our stories a brave space, not a safe space, if that makes sense.
Very nice. Thank you so much for that. Yes, our story, certainly, it's what our civilizations are based on. It's how we're learning and growing and evolving. So absolutely well said. Thank you. Terry, let's move on. Have I asked you yet? I don't think. Yes, I have. Okay. Margaret, I haven't been to you.
Well, my intention was to put out there that, don't give up trying. If one thing doesn't work, try something else. And hypnosis can scare people. Hypnotherapy, people are scared that they're going to lose control. But by me guiding my clients, I give them control. I empower them through their own resources to create change in their mindset. Because from my experience, knowing what it's like to have that mental chaos, to have depression and anxiety running at the same time, I know what that feels like, to feel that entrapment, to feel like being in the bottom of that pit. And by sharing my story, that, maybe I had to change my environment, change my world, because the world that I thought that I was meant to go down, the path I was meant to take, as much as it was a blessing, it actually was a place that created a lot of turmoil. And so sometimes we have to be willing to let go of the life that we had planned to accept the one that is still waiting for us. And learning that, you know, in giving you shall receive, but unless you fill your cup first and give yourself self-love and self-kindness, then how can you give from an empty cup? So it's about filling yourself with the things that you need, the things that you need to hear, the things that mean the most to you as a person. We can all be out there and, you know, try to be great mothers and great role models. But when you haven't had that kind of a role model, when life has just been hard and you've been taught that life has to be hard, well, I'm here to help people to teach them that you've got to put into you, so then that way you can be the best version of yourself, and that way those around you will grow with you and change, and that's empowering.
Very, very well said. Thank you. And again, you can see the resonances of each other's stories and of each other's messages and missions, which is so beautiful to see. Joel, I'll hand it back to you. What is your intention for the reader with this book?
Yeah, thanks, Crystal. You know, change is definitely a common theme, I think, among all of everyone's story, because that's, you know, it shows that, you know, that's the only constant in life is change, right? So we can either be resistant to it or we can embrace it. And, you know, my story is not unlike others. That change, though, has to correspond with a mindset change. It's like we can go through these physical and circumstantial kinds of changes, but that just sort of drags us along, and what we end up in is this sort of rut, this circular rut that we end up just kind of going around in circles, or at least feeling that way. And, you know, for me, and what I want to convey to people is that it's not too late to make those changes. And specifically, I'm talking about our relationship with money and how that connects to our relationships with people. And, you know, it goes both ways. A lot of times our relationships with people and those, you know, even if those relationships have sort of fallen behind us, we hang on to those mindsets and things that we had, or that we learned from those people, and they don't always serve us. And so that change has to happen sort of within we have to be able to confront that and say, you know what, that's probably not working for me anymore. That's probably what's keeping me in this cycle. And sometimes, you know, like sometimes that means that we have to sort of break off from those relationships. Not all the time, but that's kind of what I had to do. And in order to move on and get out of that rut and get out of that cycle that I was in. And I just want to share with people that it's not too late to do that. A lot of people, the older you get, the more you feel like, oh, well, things will never change. And this is just the way life is. And this is part of me. And, you know, we write these scripts for ourselves that say, well, I'm this kind of person, or I'm that kind of a person. I'm just always going to be this way. And a lot of it just comes down to a choice. We just choose what we are meant to be. We decide that, and then we move forward and we make those changes that need to happen in order to embrace that change.
Absolutely. And there we come back full circle back to the scripts that Wendy was starting with, those internal scripts. And this is what I love about every single multi-author book that is being published. Certainly when I have something to do with it, is the cohesiveness of the stories. There's always some kind of link that links it all together. And of course, here we have people coming together who are here to make a difference. So I encourage everybody who is listening to go to that link that's across the screen right now. Get your copy today, ideally right now, so that we can hit those ranks of Amazon and make a really big impact, so that this book can come into the hands of those who need that inspiration, so that they too can make a difference in their lives, or reach out to all of these incredible humans that are here right now, ready to welcome you with open arms to help you along, be it, walking along the beach, telling a story, or through hypnosis or relationship coaching or finances, whatever it may be. There is so much support here and so much wisdom. So please get your copy of our book. There's also some, and reach out to the authors. Each author has a free gift in their chapter where you can get closer to them and find out more and gain more value, so that together we can really create a ripple effect of change and of making a difference to see the world that we want to live in. So thank you all so very much for your contributions to this book, for your dedication, your passion, your wisdom. And may this book spread far and wide. Thank you everyone for listening. That's bye from us. Until next time.